Welcome back to another episode. Today's topic, the heat alarm. So I was fortunate enough to get additional sensors for my Notion smart monitoring system. I was able to fortunately get one after signing up with Hippo Home Insurance, and I had a previous episode about that. But today, I want to tell you a little bit more about the heat alarm. So if you look behind me, right up there, you'll see the heat alarm. Now, heat alarms are a little bit different than smoke alarms and CO detectors because what they do is they help monitor specific areas that you can't monitor with a smoke detector or CO detector. A garage is a perfect example of a place where you're going to have vehicles in here, so you're going to have perhaps a little bit of buildup of carbon monoxide. And then the smoke piece, you could have a fire before the smoke is even sensed. So in that particular case, heat alarms are the perfect complement for a garage, specifically because they have different features than a smoke alarm actually does. So in particular, the heat alarm above me, it senses when the temperature hits 135 degrees Fahrenheit. So if the temperature gets too hot in the garage, that's already a signal that there could be a possible issue. And then in addition to that, if the temperature rises more than 15 degrees within a minute, and this is 15 degrees Fahrenheit, it will also set off an alarm. So this is actually something near and dear to my heart because I wanted to make sure that every alarm in the house works, especially in areas where you wouldn't think to look. And if you can also see behind me, I have a lot of stuff in the garage. So the garage is actually one of the areas that doesn't really get much love, at least from the security and the monitoring, but it's one of those critical areas where a fire could actually start. And that's because you have all sorts of chemicals, and probably the most hazardous things that exist within a house are most likely in the garage, and that's why you actually need to protect it, especially if you have something that is attached to your home as well. So it's near and dear to my heart because I remember when we did a home renovation about 10 years ago on some bathrooms, I had our electrician run a new Ethernet line to our bedroom, and as he was doing so, he noticed that the exhaust vent from the furnace was decoupled in the attic. And this is dangerous because CO or carbon monoxide actually comes out of that exhaust. So that would have slowly dissipated throughout the entire house, especially during the winter months. And if we did not have a CO or a carbon monoxide alarm, which at the time we didn't, that could have been a big issue. So ever since then, I wanted to make sure that all the alarms in the house work. What makes it even better this day and age is that the alarms are smart alarm. So we have our house outfitted with a Google Nest Protect that have smoke and CO detectors. And the nice thing is they do periodic checks themselves, so I don't even have to check it. They monitor the network on their own. So that's huge. But the one issue, the one challenge was that Google did not make a heat alarm. And so the only option I had for a heat alarm was going with something conventional. So I did my homework just like anyone else. And I found a pretty good deal on a heat alarm. I think I got the one up there for about $23, maybe in 2018. And these days you can probably get them anywhere from $30 to $40. And then I had to figure out, okay, once I actually got it, I think I sat on it a year before I actually figured out where I was going to put it. And if you actually see behind me, we actually had an outlet here. And there was another one here, but I actually switched that out and I put the heat alarm in there instead. And ever since I did that, it's been working great. We haven't really had any issues, but the one thing was that there is no remote monitoring. So the alarm works well, and it puts out a loud noise, so if we're home, we'll hear it. But the whole idea is, if a tree falls in the forest, will you actually hear it, or will anyone hear it? And the answer is no. There's no one there to hear it. How do you know it makes a sound? So with remote monitoring these days, especially with information technology, wanted to make sure that that was on the same page. So I was able to pair the Notion home monitoring with a sound sensor, which you can actually see it now up there, right on the other side, that actually picks up the sound from the alarm. So in testing it, now the system actually picks everything up, and I can actually get remote alerts if something were to go off in the garage, which for me, it's awesome because I love having everything connected and I love knowing what the status is. In addition to that, if you're so canny or you appreciate automation as much as I do, it also has an integration with a service called If This Then That, or IFTTT. And through that, you can actually connect that to other services. So for example, if you had a process in place for if an alarm did go off, who should be notified of that? Should it notify the fire department or any particular services in general? So wanted to make sure I shared that with you today. I'm happy because I have my heat alarm now. I have it hooked up with my Notion smart monitoring device, and everything works, so now I can get alerted of it. And it just makes life easier. So again, I love projects like these, especially when you get the results you're actually looking for. I always love to share them, so appreciate any comments that you have. If you have any challenges or anything that I can help you with on the automation or on the home remodeling front, feel free to give me a shout. All right, thanks for tuning in. I'll catch you on the next episode. Bye.